Everyone. It's me, Tracy. For those of you who are new or first time to my channel, um, I got a weird error when I went to go live. That there was a broadcasting error. So let me know when you're here. Hopefully that's all sorted, and maybe it was just a thing because I did just update OBS, which is what I use for streaming. And so just want to, put a shout out there. Just say hello when you get here. I hope everyone is doing well. And I apologize for last week. It was a little bit of mayhem last week, and I had promised to go live, and unfortunately what happened was a doctor appointment, well, a test was scheduled. Hello, Brenda. And I'm guessing Kentucky Brenda. Hello. Correct me if I'm wrong. But so last week, what happened was my youngest had a diagnostic test that needed to happen, and they scheduled it for 10:30, or no, 10 a.m. And I usually go live at 11 a.m. Eastern, and so I thought, okay, that's fine. It was literally 5 minutes away. I thought we can go do the test, get back in time. It'll be fine. And uh, what I wasn't told was that they had scheduled an appointment with the doctor right after the test. So, with, I guess, enough time for them to look at the test. So the appointment was scheduled for 11. And and then the appointment took more than 45 minutes. And so by the time I got home, it was almost noon. And I was like, great. Okay, now what do I do? And so I partially thought about doing a live on Friday instead. And then something told me not to. And I'm so glad I did. I listened to my gut, because holy cow, like actually for the next week, like it has been insanely busy and crazy. And so I hope that your week has been super calm and all that, unlike mine. So it's just been a little bit much, so I just decided to just skip it, and I would come in today and apologize, and thank you all for your patience. So we have some sewing. You'll notice that I don't have my little where is it, over here. I don't have my little window for showing you what I'm working on, because I am working on sort of a top secret project that will hopefully go live in the next 2 weeks. And I'm totally gonna sneeze. So you ever get that moment where you're like, am I gonna sneeze? Am I gonna sneeze? I don't know if I'm going to sneeze, but we'll see. I have a tissue just in case. So that will go live, but in the meantime, I just want to sort of keep it a little bit of a secret. And so I appreciate that everyone is here. It has been a hard week, and so I think it is today I want to dedicate this live stream to Dolly and to Tim, who passed away this week. And they were two of my favorites. And so I thought, you know what, let's hold space today for anyone who's grieving. And if you're grieving any sort of loss or difficult time and you want to talk about it, feel free to drop a comment. Otherwise, if you are just feeling the loss of Dolly Parton and Tim Curry, I would love to hear your favorite memory of them, or your favorite song, or your favorite movie, and let me know how you feel about them, because I just love them both so much. So I thought I would sew, and we could chat like per usual, and all of that. So Kentucky Brenda, is this your first time here? Because I'm not sure I remember seeing your name come up. And I find that interesting this week, because I actually have a little bit of Kentucky news. Indeed. So I have huge news. On Monday, I started a new job, and I am now the editor-in-chief at American Quilter magazine for American Quilter Society. And and I am super excited. I'm taking over for Trisha Patterson, and luckily I worked for Trisha Patterson back when I took a job with F&W in 2019, and so it's been really nice to chat with her again. I get to work with her for the next few weeks while she transitions out and I transition in, and so I'm super excited. Oh, Brenda, you said yes, very sad. I feel I need to make a coat of many colors for Aunt Dolly. I love it. I love it so much. Brenda Foley, I love it. Yeah, so gosh, so that's my huge news. And so if you have ever been to Paducah, I'd love to hear about it. And if you're a member of the American Quilter Society, I would love to hear about it as well. I will continue to do videos here, and so I'm super excited to start. I got very burned out. I had been the editor of Quiltmaker magazine for almost 6 years, and then I was also an editor of a secondary magazine during that time. So first Quilty, then they shuttered Quilty. Then I took over for McCall's Quilting while one of our editors was on maternity leave. And then after that, I helped to create Fons and Porter's Quick and Easy Quilts. And so every month I had a magazine that I needed to get to print, and it was an enormous amount of work. And we didn't always have the support we needed. And when COVID hit, it was all of that, plus the podcast we were doing every week. And I've never worked so hard in my whole life. And I just got so burned out. So about a month ago, I all of a sudden felt like I missed working on magazines, and felt like, I was like, oh my gosh, I think the burnout is gone. And 2 weeks after that, I saw a post from American Quilter Society that Trisha was retiring, and the rest is history. Like 2 weeks later, I had the job. And so it's been a little bit on the down low. I announced it on LinkedIn a little prematurely, but I was very excited. And like I said, I started Monday. So it's very fun. So you've been here before, but you're lurking. I love it. I've also sort of opened up the comments. I had it so that you had to be a subscriber. There was a live I did, which was later in the day, so admittedly, but after that I changed the settings so that you had to be a subscriber to comment. But I opened it up again so anyone can comment. You enjoy Paducah each year. You're 3 hours away in Louisville. Yeah. So thank you so much. And all right. So I haven't had a day, well, since Tuesday, that I haven't cried. And so I would say I'm not remotely a country music listener. Aside from Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton, who I will listen to anytime. And a few others. There's a few other songs that I really love. But for the most part, I'm not really a country music fan. I'm more of like an alternative punk girl, if you haven't noticed. And very much like an 80s new wave, dark wave girl. The Cure is my favorite band of all time. I listen to a lot of like 70s music too, because that's the music of my childhood. So there's a little bit of like yacht rock and a little bit of like disco that I listen to quite frequently. But for the most part, I'm like a dark wave kind of girl. So, however, growing up, Dolly Parton has been a part of my life for my entire existence. And it has been, so there are just songs that are just absolutely my favorite. And as a matter of fact, there was a project that I did when I was at Golden Peak that was called, what was it called? Peace on Earth. It was like an advent calendar where we sent out something every day, and it was my project. And it was like, you got a quilt pattern, you got a recipe, you got a joke, a stupid joke, and I forget, that might have been it. But you got a pattern each day, and I did a whole playlist. There was a song each day. And Hard Candy Christmas was on my playlist, with a whole bunch of my other favorite Christmas songs of all time. And Did I change I did not change my thread. I was doing so much sewing on Monday for my youngest, and I was doing embroidery, so I did not have the right thread attached, and I just pulled it out the wrong way. Oopsie. Um, so I would love to know what your favorite Dolly Parton song is. Oh, you same here, rock on it. Love it, Brenda. And so Dolly, um, gosh, I don't know. Here we go. Here we go again is probably my favorite song by Dolly, quite honestly. I will always love you, of course. I wouldn't say Jolene is my favorite, actually. I love the song. But it's not necessarily my favorite. I definitely think, or Here He Comes Again. Isn't that the name of the song? I'm having a total brain fog couple of days. I'm literally forgetting words, so I'm just going to put that out there. Just autoimmune stuff going on. I went to a flare at the end of last week, and so, my brain is still catching up on all of that. So, Here He Comes Again is probably my favorite. And so I'd love to know what your favorite is. Oh, 9 to 5 is your favorite. Love it. I love 9 to 5. I actually rewatched it last year. Oh, what a fun movie. And gosh, I never saw the movie. I don't even think I know the name of it. The one where she was like the talk show, the radio talk show person. I've got to watch that one because I've heard good things about it. I think I was in college at the time. And so, I don't think I had, didn't have the bandwidth to pay attention to all of the movies that were going on and all of the TV shows at that time. So, oh, I did not turn on my iron. That's a problem. And so I want to rewatch or watch that one because I never saw it. And I'm trying to think of like what other things I really loved of her. So there's just so many. But above all, I really loved her kindness, her approach to the world, how much of like how she helped people was just incredible. And so I know that I've been hurting a lot. I just feel like, as I wasn't expecting the news, and I didn't want the news. I was anticipating always that I would not be happy. And it felt very much like when David Bowie died, and when Prince died, where just like a light was extinguished, And I know she's not gone. Like, I definitely believe that, that we as spirits just go back to source, and, and we're still here very much, but, and her legacy will live on, for years to come, but just what she did for her family, for her state, for people all around the world. And I just felt it was really great. And then Tim Curry dying was just like a double blow for me. When I was in high school in the 80s, I lived in New Jersey, and me and several friends started going to the 8th Street Playhouse in New York City to go see Rocky Horror Picture Show. And that is where the whole cult following of the movie started, and where all of the audience participation started. And we used to go as frequently as we could. We would bring other friends and convert them over to how much fun it was. And I still can't get over how frequently we were allowed to just sort of, we got dropped off and like just were allowed to walk around Greenwich Village at midnight, and then at like, 2, 3 in the morning, be walking back to wherever, we were picking up our ride. And so it cracks me up to this day that, like, nothing ever happened to us, luckily. Even our ridiculous outfits at that time of night, nothing ever bad happened. And it was a wonderful experience to just sort of be weird and have fun and like feel like you were a part of the art that was being created. So, and then just all of Tim's movies, like, he had a prolific career, where I just feel like no part was too small for him. And as a person who went to a performing arts high school, I went to college for acting. It's always been a joy to watch actors who bring that much skill to their work. And he just was magnificent and always was phenomenal in whatever role he played. So that's where my mind has been. I couldn't even post about Dolly. But yesterday with the news of Tim passing, I felt like I had to post. It was just too much. And I so I posted that story about, like, growing up and experiencing Rocky Horror and all of that. And I've had a few friends who said that they knew I was on their mind over the past few days because they knew how upset I would be. And I appreciate that so much. It makes my heart happy that I was on people's minds. And so, like I said, for anyone who's joining and maybe skipped over to the live feed, I want to reiterate that I'm holding space for anyone who is struggling this week. And whether you're watching the live or watching the replay, because I know we have a ton of people who watch the replay, feel free to leave a comment and let me know how you're doing and how you're feeling and what you're working on. I'd love to hear what you're working on. Hey, Keenan, hello. How are you, darling? So nice to see you pop up here. As I mentioned, I've been working on a project that's kind of secretive. So, and it's also a little bit complex. So I might be muttering to myself because I have to remember where all the pieces go, which is a little bit tricky. So just it's a complex pattern, and I don't know, just a little bit hard. I have to I've done, I don't know how many of these blocks I've done. The block itself has been taking 40 to an hour to make, and 40 minutes to an hour to make each block. And I need to have it done next week. So I am going to be sewing a lot over the next few days. But it's been one of those weeks where I'm just sewing a ton. So it's all good. So I think any time where I'm in my sewing room is good, even if it is slightly stressful. In an example like this, where it's a complex pattern, it's all good. And I'm trying to keep track of which letter block I am working on. So and I'll be keeping up with the comments. I know for the past few weeks, actually, it's been interesting because some people are commenting as they're watching the sort of like start of the video. And so I'll try and go back as I can. But I'm trying to figure out, Keenan, what you're saying OMG about. So there you go. So, okay. I just laid out all of my little blocks in front of my needle, which I'm like, I know I did this before, but geez, it's not really very practical to have all of the little pieces right there, is it now? Okay, I'm gonna put it on top of the block that I'm working on, and that'll be fine because then I'll know what I need to do. Okay. I also still remain angrily challenged with my and this is also the part where I go, all right, I'm going to put on my laser, which is helpful, and then I'm trying to decide if I want to change my foot out to a different foot. Watching live, it's about each block taking forever. Oh yeah, they're huge. So I'm doing all the hard blocks first. I need to make 15 of this complex block and then 15 blocks that are like an Irish chain. And so the block, though I'm doing all the hard blocks first because I knew this was going to be stressful. I want to get the hard part done first, and then the easy blocks can be a breeze. And then I'll be like, oh, this is no problem at all. But for the meantime, I am very much struggling. Um, so, but you know what the nice thing is? The nice thing is that I'm working on a hard block and I'm practicing my skills. And you know me, I've got to put a positive spin on it, right? I am going to show you this little trick. I'm going to show you this little part. That's something that I do that's a little trick. So I'm doing stitch and flip corners. And once I do the stitch from corner to corner, which I'm sorry that you can't really see, but I stitched across here. And I did like a needle width towards the corner. So I don't do it exactly on the corner. And then what I do is I fold back the corner to this corner right here. A lot of people skip over this fact and they cut this off before they align where that corner should go. If you don't check it against this corner, you have the opportunity, if your line isn't perfect, for you to have an inaccurate flying geese unit. And this rectangle back here is the exact size that you need. So if I am not accurate, like first of all, I will fold it back to this corner and then I will press it. I can see through with the light over here that I was a little bit further than a needle width. I was just slightly off, like I probably was 2 needle widths over. And I can see that where I folded it is not where I would fold it if you know what, I'll show you this way. I'm gonna sort of finger press it where it would be so that maybe you can see how much is sticking out, and it would be bigger than the block is supposed to be. And then I'd be wondering why my block isn't lining up. So I always line it up and I'll sort of finger press it to where it needs to be. And then I press it and then I trim it off. And then there's another thing that I do. I sometimes, and in this case, this is what I'm doing. Rather than, so now I've pressed it and it looks all nice. Rather than cut off this entire corner, I'm only going to remove this white part in between. And I'm going to leave the rectangle on the back side. Now, yes, it is a little bit bulkier than it would normally be. However, I know that my unit will be accurate now because I've left that. Years ago, I'm trying to remember what the lady's name is. Mary Ellen. It's funny, I'm looking over at one of my, I have one of those IKEA carts and it's got like cups of pens in it. She gave me a pen when I met her in LA. Her name is Mary Ellen. Darn it. Can't remember what her name is, but she had several books out back in the early 2000s, late 90s, and they were called like Connecting Up. And it was all about like doing different units like Irish chain and snowball blocks that make secondary patterns. And I got to meet her when I worked at a store in LA, a quilt shop in LA. And I still can picture her. It was so vividly because she was the first like famous quilter that I had ever met. And she was bouncing up on her heels saying, "That's your base. Don't cut it off." And so in my head, whenever I do this, I have to like make a decision. Am I cutting it off or am I keeping it? And then her words always ring in my brain. That is your base. Don't cut it off. All right, so let's see. Hello, Mary. Welcome, welcome. So glad to see that you're here. Brenda says I had a funny this morning. A person on another shift took my ink pen. I said, OMG. And I said, calm down, step back. We can figure this out. Mary Ellen Hopkins, Kathy Klein, you are the best. Thank you, Mary Ellen Hopkins. Absolutely. I haven't thought about her in so long. I couldn't remember her name. Oh my gosh, if people take my pen. I have gotten so particular on pens. And it's funny, when I worked at Golden Peak in F&W, I realized all of the women, it was all women in our department. We didn't have any men who were editors. But all of us were the same. Like, we were all cut from the same cloth. We liked work to be completely quiet. It was absolutely silent in the office during the day. And if there was noise, like one day I remember there was a closet outside that had like the fire alarm and it was beeping. We were losing our minds because the noise was so annoying. Okay, so on this side, I'm actually going to show you. I underdid it a little bit. So at least on this corner. On this corner, it's perfect. I know because I corrected myself. I just didn't line up the needle correctly on this corner. So I'm still going to do exactly the same thing and leave the back. But now I know I'll be accurate. So hello, Mona. Welcome, welcome. We've got new names today. It's nice. Keenan, you always want to be my personal assistant, and if I'm ever in a position where I can hire someone as my personal assistant, I will definitely hire you. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of money in publishing, you know. There's not a huge budget, so it's just me on this job. It's just me and the graphic designer. So, you know, just is what it is, unfortunately. People aren't spending a lot of money on ads in magazines anymore. There's no way to actually track how many people have read it, and that makes companies unhappy. You know, since digital ads came to be. All right, I feel like I was talking about something else. So I was talking about the stitch and flip. Oh, I know. So it was perfectly silent. When I got there, they gave me like certain office supplies, and it was one of my coworkers, Anissa, who actually set up my office. She was the sweetest. And she did everything so nicely, but she gave me a series of pens. Like, I had a red pen, a blue pen, a black pen, and a mechanical pencil. And we all had the same ones. But after a while, you know, you lose your pen, or, you know, something would happen and you'd need a new one. Maybe it would break, whatever. And so we all slightly had different variations of like the same pens, and we all had our own preferences of like what like pen lead size we liked, and what even what like pen tip size we liked. So what became my favorite, did I bring it up? I don't think I did. I brought up a couple of notebooks I got this week to show you guys. I did not bring up my pen, but I've got one of those clicky pens that has the different colored inks, and I've been using these for years because I want to say it's Bic. Makes, I don't know that they make them anymore. They're really hard to find, but they made one that had a red, a blue, and a black ink and a mechanical pencil all built in with the little buttons that you would, you know, slide down and then pop when you wanted it to go back up. And it's been my favorite for years. And so whenever I loaned my pen to someone, this is a very long story, Brenda. Sorry, I hope you're sticking with me. But I literally would be hyper fixated on the fact that my pen was in their hands, and I needed to remember that they needed to give it back to me. And there's only been a few times where they would forget to hand it back to me, but it'd be like, that's my pen. So yeah, I'm a little bit wackadoodle about my pen situation, more so my pencil situation, to be quite honest. But yeah, I understand how you feel. It like so, throws your whole day off. Oh, Mona, I didn't realize I could even see that someone shared my live. Thank you so much. Um, I mean, Keenan, they still have those pens. You find it interesting, good, Brenda. Yes, yes. I wish I had brought it up. Because it kind of cracks me up that like it's still my favorite. And I will say, I went to Office Depot yesterday. When I start a new job, I always go and I get a new notebook. I am kind of like I usually do kind of my own version of like a bullet journal, if you know what that is. And I date my notes, and I always have one book that I use so that all of my notes are in the same place so that I can always look back if I need to remember something that was mentioned at a meeting or whatever. So I went to Office Depot yesterday finally, and I had the hardest time. I honestly was going in. I have a little like it's a notebook that Office Depot sells that's like got a leather cover and you can put in new notebooks. And I was going in my head with that thought, but then I saw other notebooks. And so I say this because Keenan, they had those big pens, and not only did they have a neon color because it's back to school time, they had a regular one that just has the red, the black, the blue, and maybe green, I think was the fourth color. But they've got those, they still sell them. They still sell them very much, very much so. So I wanted cute and I wanted a nice notebook. And I generally, I was kind of thinking I wanted something a little bit bigger than what I usually use, because I usually use like kind of moleskin size or like moleskin type. My husband gets a bunch at trade shows, and so I often have like a big stack of them. And I honestly have some from Michael's that we did a big photography thing for Michael's at Golden Peak. And so we had lots of leftovers that we could actually purchase. But at any rate, I decided to get this notebook here, which I thought was super cute. It's colorful. It's got a nice little pink thing, but it's got little sections inside with tabs, and they're colorful. And I thought I could have a tab for each like section of the magazine that I need to write, so that I could have notes that I could look back on. So that if, say, for instance, there's a feature called Finds in American Quilter, which is all the new products, and if I have a product that I want to like remember for a later issue in the year, or if maybe I wanted to put that feature that in the feature product in the feature. Oh, I can speak. And maybe something didn't come through. I didn't get the right photos in time, or maybe I needed to hold off because it wasn't quite ready. I can have notes in one place. And so that's what I decided to get for my notebook. I have so much paperwork to go through and so much to learn about the magazine and what I need to write and all that. But then I wanted to get a second notebook, and I came across one. So first I came across one that was kind of like that one, and it actually had a pen as well, and it might have even been cheaper than that one. And at first I grabbed that one, and it said anything is possible on the cover, and I really liked it. But then I found this one, and it had 5 sections instead of just 4, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna get the bigger one. And then I saw one that had an embroidered cover, and it had flowers embroidered on it, and I almost got that one. But then I saw this one, and if you've watched the past few weeks, you know that I have been talking about all the books I'm reading, and I'm a big tea drinker. And it's got a weird binding. I'm curious to see how it holds up because I'm a little bit concerned. However, I want to show you this. It just opens up flat. And I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. So this will be I'm going to save this for a different, like personal project for myself. And so that one will be a work one, but I love it. So I absolutely love going to to get paper products, notebooks, whatnot. I love a good planner, but I never find one that actually works for me. I did find one last year, and I almost bought a similar one by Happy Planner. It's called Organized by Happy Planner, and I almost bought that one again. And I liked it because in the front it had all of the like calendar stuff and then day by day stuff, but then in the back it had notes. But then I thought I didn't think it had enough note space because I need a lot of notes when I'm working on a magazine, and so I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be enough. So, and I didn't want to like run out of note space halfway through the year. So anyway, that's my paper planning situation. I have also been finishing books like crazy this year. Like I just have been reading so much. I finished Yesteryear, which I don't think I mentioned at the last time I was live. If I did, I apologize. It's a really interesting story. I think maybe I was reading it when I did the last live. So Yesteryear, if you don't know it, is a story about an influencer who is super popular. She does like all kinds of like, kind of like the trad wife, kind of, how to do sourdough bread and all those kind of home things. And she suddenly wakes up in the 1800s and needs to figure out the mystery of how she woke up in the 1800s. And it's funny because when I started reading it, I almost stopped reading it because I just wasn't sure I was invested in the characters very much. And then all of a sudden, I hit a point where I was like, oh, this is good. And then the end was sort of creepy. And they're turning it into a movie, I think. So yeah, so that one's a good one. It didn't take too long to read. And now I am reading a book called The Vanishing Cherry Blossom Bookshop, I think it's called. And that one is very good. So that one's a little bit different. A friend of mine is reading it, or just finished it actually, and she wanted to do like sort of like a book club get together online. And so that's why I'm reading that one. So if you're reading a good book, let me know. Okay, that goes there and that goes there. I literally have to talk myself through this every single time. This part is the fiddly part where it's the most small pieces, and my piecing has been slightly off on several parts when I get to this part, but luckily I've been able to figure it out. Usually I'm just doing too much of a scant 1/4 inch, and it really needs to be a 1/4 inch. And it's just sort of my habit of doing a scant, and because I just feel like it's better to be too big than too small, in my opinion, because then I don't have to unsew, I can just sew another seam. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been working out okay. Like I feel like the block is super cute. So, but I'll be doing a little tutorial for you, and most of the tutorial is done. I have to do one more part of making this block, and then I just need to do the opener and show the finished quilt. And so that's all I've got to do, and for filming anyway. And I'm pretty excited about it. It's gonna be cute. I wish I could send this one out to someone. I'll figure it out if I can. To have it quilted, I mean. Because I just think it would be better with like an overall long arm design. Oh, I keep putting this big scissor over here instead of next to me. So I still want to know what everyone's favorite Dolly Parton song is, or your favorite Tim Curry movie. He was in so many good ones. Or your favorite Dolly Parton movie, because we can say that too. Just out of curiosity. My husband and I were talking last night at dinner, and we were saying it's just been too much for us this year. Losing his mom and then losing Dolly Parton and losing Tim Curry is just, it's just too much, you know? So my family is a little bit hurting. So if you can hold us in your thoughts or prayers, or, you know, send us your good vibes, we would appreciate it. So, oh, Steel Magnolias. Oh, Keenan says Steel Magnolias is something my mom and I would watch a lot when I was growing up. Oh, hello, Vintage Style by Joe. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Oh, am I going to be at QuiltCon in February? I am. Oh my gosh. Vintage Style Bello. Hello. You saw Mona's Discord message that I was live. That was so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm trying to scroll up because I feel like I've missed some comments. Oh, there we go. Am I going to be at QuiltCon in February? I am going to very much try to be at QuiltCon in February. It is in Atlanta, I think. Oh, shoot. You know what? I just realized I don't think I've gotten an email about classes. Have classes gone live yet? I feel like that's soon. And I took classes last time and it was great. So Atlanta is like it's like a 4-hour drive to the convention center for me. Maybe 4.5. So it's not really terrible. And so I probably will try to be, I will try to be at QuiltCon in February. You know, and with work and all, I can make that a work trip, can I? I can. So yeah. Will you be at QuiltCon in February? You're gonna try and be there. If you're gonna be there, I'm gonna be there, Keenan. If you and Shannon are gonna be there, I will be there. So, abso-freaking-lutely. That's all you had to say, and I will go. Maybe we can rent an Airbnb. That would be fun. Unless you want to be at the hotel nearest the convention center, because the convention center, if it's at the convention center in Atlanta, that I don't know that they've got more than one big one. I feel like there's more than one hotel right there. But yeah, super fun. So, and I'm also gonna probably be in Paducah. I imagine that I probably will have to be in Paducah for work. But yeah, so that'll be fun. And it'll be nice because last time I went to Paducah was my first time, and I only got to stay for like a day and a half. It was really hard to get there from Denver. Like my flight took all day. And because I had to fly into North Carolina or Atlanta, and then fly to Paducah from there. And it was just no joke. It was all dang day. So it'll be nice. I actually can drive. I think I'm like 8 hours to Paducah, 8-hour drive. And I haven't looked at flights, but I know I can get a direct flight from here to go to Paducah, and the flight is not long. So yeah. So I'm hoping next year is all full of shows. And then I already got asked if I was going to H&H, and I don't know yet. But that's it's an easy flight. I have a place to stay, so I could probably go to H&H as well. I just have to plan all those things. So I apologize that I'm like keep clearing my throat. My throat is being super weird today. And I say super weird because I keep like going like that, like in threes. It's weird. So again, what are you working on? Is anybody working on anything interesting? I finished my houses, but the link to the village quilt pattern is still in the description, I think. Now that I think of it. Yeah, it should still be a good link. but if not, let me know and I will drop a new link. That one's a free pattern. Okay. All right. Got all my weird little pieces ready to sew together. And we're gonna see how it goes. I'm also practicing with doing open seams because it's super bulky. What I've got to do 4 flying geese units all together. And I've just found that open seams makes it a little flatter. I should probably use a little bit of my favorite quilting spray, but I'm afraid I don't want to mess up the size. I might use a little bit of quilting spray. I just want these to be nice and flat, you know, and they're not quite flat. Oh yeah. So Kathy Klein says, love Paducah. I've gone for many years. Such a good show. So big. And I got to go to the quilt museum last time. Oh, so good. It was just so great. And I loved going to Paducah. It was just so, I don't know, charming and fun. So, but I was by myself. So, you know, I knew people there, but I wasn't like I went and like had friends with me. So next time, hopefully I get to like hang out with people that I know and love at Paducah. Mona says, me too, Joe, but they are a long drive. Keenan says, I haven't been sewing at all because Shannon has made like 10 quilts in the past 2 months. And you haven't had any machine time. Oh my goodness. Why is she making so many quilts for us? She doing like Christmas presents or something? That's incredible. Vintage Style by Joe said, finish my last 2 work in progress. Good for you. I feel like I've got like so many tops done. I've really got to spend the rest of the year quilting things. Mary H says, I'm working on the socialites block. You're way behind. Well, that's okay. Mona says, great, Joe. I'll never be finished with my whips. I don't know that I'll ever be finished either. Maybe when I retire. I always used to say that I was, whenever I bought things, I said I was saving for my retirement. And I still think that's true. I definitely feel like at some point I'll catch up. But this year has been all about adding projects, unfortunately. And I am going to do my best in this new position with AQS that I am not going to, you know, do what I did the last time, which was that I spent so much time editing patterns that at the end of the day, it felt like I had spent all day sewing. And so I never really wanted to be sewing. And luckily with one magazine, I feel like it's going to be so much better. Oh, that is the spray makes it nice and flat. I think I'm going to have to do that. Put my nice clapper. Do you want to see my really nice clapper? Isn't that so pretty? It's ridiculous. This is by Modern American Vintage. Chris makes these gorgeous sewing products. So this is his, this is one of my seam rippers by Chris. Gorgeous. His mom's a quilter. His mom's name is Lisa, and she's a quilter. And he started making stuff for her. He's a woodworker who started making stuff for her, turned it into a whole business. Incredible. All right, let's see. Uh-oh. I accidentally clicked. I didn't mean to. Okay, let's see. Keenan says, my mom would say that about books that she would buy, and she's been retired for 10 years, and every time I go over there, I ask her which of those books she's read yet. Brenda says, I've prepared fabric for Crimson, Kristen Moser's poinsettia pattern. Oh, I love that pattern. It's gorgeous. Tricky to quilt. Corey at Linda's did a whole video on that quilt in particular on what color thread to use because there's so many colors that come together. Katie says, my mom's a reader and she bought like 100 books that she said were for her retirement. And I don't think she's read a single one of them yet. She just keeps reading the same books she loves. I love that though. I mean, that's so nice. You know, maybe she's a book collector. And that's her. Like, I've had to think about that. For a while, I said I was just a fabric collector because I had no time to sew. But now I feel like I'm definitely very much a quilter and I still love my stuff. So, uh, ah, Vintage Style by Joe says, it's going to take me all winter to finish the embroidery on my snowman quilt, which is what I plan to do anyway. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I had the, so I can't even, I should have planned to have a photo in my computer to show you guys, because I did some stuff for my kiddo. Oh yeah, that's way flatter, way flatter. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I did some sewing for my kiddo this week, and part of what I needed to do was um, scan in like a logo. And so on my brother, this luminaire still has the camera and you can scan in whatever you want and then it'll turn it into embroidery. And so I actually made little purse charms for them to give their friends and to trade. They're going to the My Chemical Romance concert tonight in Denver, and apparently the fans of My Chemical Romance like to trade, and so I made them an extra to trade. They can actually technically trade two because they had made one for themselves, and then they have another one that was like my sample that they can trade because I can always make them another one. But it came out so good. Like I can't get over how fun it was. Like once I figured out how to scan in and then edit what it had scanned so that it was perfect. So good. So good. And so I will never do hand embroidery again. And but see, I don't love hand embroidery. I like hand sewing, but I don't really love hand embroidery. I just never been really good enough. I can't be as perfect as I would like to be. I like to be perfect. So, yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, hello, Melanie. How are you? Yeah, I hate YouTube notifications too. Sometimes it's late, sometimes it's weird. Mona says, I've already started pulling fabric from my next quilt before I finish this one. I mean, sometimes you just need inspiration, don't you think? I was just leaving my iron there a little bit too long, I think. I hate when I iron it and then I'm like, that's not perfect. I hate when I do that. See, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it's like work stuff, and this is definitely a work thing. I'm gonna line it up with the next one and I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it and I'm just gonna line it up a different way. That's what I'm gonna do so that I'm back to being perfect. Let's see. Yes, Devin's in Denver. Yeah, that's totally fun. They flew for the first time by themselves for the first time. So big deal. And it went very well. Like so easy. They had an easy time. So I love that for them. Because, sometimes flights go crazy. But it went well. So yeah, they're in Denver, having fun. They're showing me pictures of all the food they're having, which makes me jealous. But what can you do? I have my seat like scooched over really far this way, and that makes me have to lean really far this way, which probably is not going to make my back happy later. But what can you do? So if you guys haven't used this magic, this is my little bottle. I actually have a giant jug, like a gallon-sized jug underneath my little ironing station. But this is the Magic Quilting and Crafting Spray. It truly is magic. I love this stuff. Like it's my favorite. I don't use anything else anymore. It doesn't have any scent, which I don't mind scent. I really love, like I've always loved flatter. I don't really love the Best Press. What's her name? I've never loved Best Press because I think it's too strong smelling. I don't know. There's something about it that always makes me want to sneeze. But Flatter I always liked because I really liked their fig scented one. Oh yeah, that's good. But this stuff, It is truly magical. Truly magical. So, I hope that that's... Isn't that interesting? I might need to move that other seam down. I literally lined it up so that it was up a little higher and it came out perfect. Well, now I know what I need to do. If I do it again, I feel like I wonder if my top tension's a little heavy and it's pushing it. We're going to try it again and see what happens. Watch, it's not going to push this one. It was just a fluke. We shall see. Moment of truth. If I have to unsew it, it's fine. Look at that. Huh. Well, I guess I'm going to have to unsew this side because this side is not perfect. I'm guessing that my top tension's a little heavy, and that might be part of my issue. Isn't it funny how you learn something new every day? You know, I sew all the time. And still learning things. Amazing. I should have flattened this before I did it. Okay, let's do that. Yeah. This makes my perfectionist heart happy. I'm trying to remember what Devin said to me this week as I was sewing. They were like, you know, they actually made a comment about the fact that I was stressing about making something look perfect. Oh, it's not perfect there, but I think it looks fine, is what I said. And they were like, Mom. I think I said it's not perfect, but it looks appropriate. Is what I said because it, you know, it just sort of looked kind of funky. Let's give that a go. Oh, have a great day, Mona. Thanks for stopping in. Vintage Child by Joe says, yep, Mona, already ahead of ourselves with the projects before we finish the old one. Oh my goodness, so true. But I also just get bored and I just need to like start inspiring my brain so that I can finish. I think it's inspiring. Kate says tell them to fly to Sacramento after the concert and I'll give them a crazy weekend. That sounds lovely. I don't think they can do it, but they're actually going to still be in Denver over the weekend, so they're having a nice vacation. I wanted them to have a good experience. They've had so many doctor's appointments and things that, you know, they deserve to have a fun time. So, even if they're exhausted next week. Ah, this one's coming out nice and flat. I think you guys have been my lucky charm. Been my little lucky charm, figuring out how to get this to work and look nice. Make sure it's straight before I put the clapper on. Okay, next one. I mean, I'm telling you, I literally have just sewn like one little segment. It's crazy. All right, I need 2 of those. And 2 of those. Oh, I see. I'm getting text messages and I don't quite understand why my whatchamacallit, I'm actually getting pop-ups about it, which is strange. 2 there and 2 there and 1 there and 1 there. And then 1 of those and 1 of those. Okay, let's go. Let's see if now that I've gotten lining them up perfectly, now I've got to think about how I can line this up so that I can make it perfect. Because it's been, I think that the problem is this foot. I'm kind of still contemplating switching over to an open foot. I wish I really had like an open toe foot, kind of like the one that Bernina has, but I don't think there is one like that for Brother. Makes it so much easier to see the needle, you know? Brenda says, I'm so sorry for the typos at work and in a hurry. No worries. I can figure out what you're trying to say, and if I say the wrong thing and I don't misunderstand you, just let me know. Ooh, ooh, that one's open. I might try that one. It's not quite. I forget what the letter or number of the Bernina foot. It's the one that looks like this, you know. And this one's kind of close to it. It's got a little bit of clear center. I'm wondering if that would work better. What's the other option? Oh yeah, this one's also pretty clear. Oh, I bet you this one goes with that funky walking foot. I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch feet to the J foot. That's what I'm gonna do. Goodness. Starting to get work emails, which is very strange. Because I don't quite know what they all mean. You ever have that where you're at a new job and you're just like, what is this? So that's what has been happening. But like I said, I don't know why I put my focus on, and so my focus is already not completely focused. So I must have to change some of the settings to make sure that the apps aren't. There we go. That does make it easier to see the needle. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Okay. Perfect. Love it. Oop. I let go at the last second, and I went a little bit over too far, but that's okay. Because I can just be like Mary Ellen Hopkins, right? He says, I really want to buy that $500 bundle of all the Bernina feet. Yeah, and I actually wonder if there's some Bernina feet that I can pass on to you guys. I've got a couple of weird ones that I don't know will work with our three. What do we have? 335, 355? I don't know what we have. It's one of the first, we have the first Tula Pink machine. And technically it's Devon's. So I'll have to show you guys sometime because it's the first Tula Pink machine and it's autographed by Tula in pink Sharpie. So I feel like it should be worth something, you know? Autographed and all. So, but Devon got to meet Tula Pink a few times, and when they got that machine, they were, oh my gosh, 10, 11, something like that. And I have a picture when Tula autographed it for them. Super cute. Comes up in my memories every once in a while, and it makes me smile. It was a gift from our local quilt shop to Devon. We had a really great owner who was so kind to us and loved to help us with the magazine stuff. And Devon was a junior editor at Generation Q, and so did a lot of sewing back then. And that's their machine. So there you go. All right, Brenda, ask your question. Go right ahead. And then Keenan was like, oh, wow. And then said, I don't like that Devon is an adult. I know. because that means I'm really an adult because I remember 8-year-old Devin. Yeah, I know. I know. And if you come to Greensboro to visit, you get to go out drinking with Devin. Devin took Mackenzie and Aaron to a local like pub, and they had a blast. I stayed home because I was not feeling well that night, but I wanted to go out with them very much and enjoy the place. They had Malort cocktails there, Keenan. So, you know, it was like definitely a very Chicago vibe night. So, of course, Mac was talking all about the Malort concoctions that she's made over the years. For those of you not from Chicago, I don't know if you know what Malort is, but it's a very strong drink. Malort, not in Chicago. Amazing. I know. Yeah, we have a couple places to get Malort here. There's one place that if you drink Malort and you don't make a face, you get your picture taken and you're up on the wall of fame. But we wanted to all go together and do it so that it was like a family photo. So, all right. Brenda, did you ask your question yet? No, I don't see it. But feel free to ask your question and I will answer it as soon as I see it pop up. What time is it? Funny that I can't read my thing because I started to look in at the time and then a thing popped up. Oh, it's only a little after 12. We're good. All right. Making progress. This takes forever. It's also, you know, being super chatty. But that's okay. That's okay, isn't it? That's not bad. Okay. That worked. All right. Was told it was buildable. You can spray in each step. How do you use the material magic? Okay, so it's what is that? I always forget what the name is, but it's so it's the Magic Premium Quilting and Crafting Spray. It totally is buildable. When I first, and actually each spray bottle, like let me look and see if I've got a handy one. Okay. So I don't have, it also comes in a bottle like this. This one's just the Lori Holt one. It actually has the same spray in it, but it mists. Oh, maybe it's not enough. Oh, let's see. It mists it. It's not, I don't think it's full enough for me. Oh, there it goes. I did spray my sewing machine. Holy cow. So, goodness. So now everything got a little spray of it. But when I use that one, it sprays it a little stronger. And, oh, I know. The other bottle, it's actually, now they have this one, but they originally had one that was just a clear base with just a trigger spray, like you would any like household cleaner, right? That one actually, a lot came out and it would make the fabric pretty thick. I almost want to say thick. Oh, hello, Miss Ophelia. Miss Ophelia's coming over to see what I'm spraying. Hello. Devin's not here, so no one's here to watch Ophelia. So sorry about the kitty interruption. But I kind of like this one. It's just a little trial thing. I think I got it at a show or it came with the big bottle. But at any rate, this one sprays just a little bit. And so it's more like, I don't know, what you would expect with a regular, any other starch that you're using. Now, this isn't a starch. It is I believe it's a sizing. It does not attract bugs like a starch would, because starch actually does, if you don't wash it out, it attracts bugs. And so sometimes bugs can eat your stuff. And that's why the starch is like, you know, like you just need to wash it out. It's fine. Starch is great. And lots of people use lots of different kinds of starch. But this is a sizing. And so you can totally use it at every stage. Now, I have a log cabin quilt that it's downstairs. I wish I could go grab it for you guys. It's a log cabin quilt that I made when I first started using this. And some of the strips actually feel thicker. Like, I don't know how to describe how it made the, part of me wanted to say like it almost made it feel plastic, but that's not really what I mean. It got this really interesting thicker feel that made piecing a dream. And so that's why I really like this. So yes, it is totally buildable. You can spray it before you start and then spray it as you use it, and it gets like stiffer and stiffer, but it's not never stiff. Like, I just did this one and you can see that it's completely floppy, but it does have body where it's like straight and not, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. You know how like, all right, so that's like a piece that's a fabric that's not starched and it like goes completely like, you know, I don't know. But, and this is a piece part. Well, I guess it does the same thing. But at any rate, it feels just a bit firm and a bit, but not hard. Okay. Am I making sense? It doesn't, you know how starch can sometimes make things feel a little bit like stiff and scratchy? That's not what happens here. Thanks for laughing, Keenan. Thanks for laughing. Yeah, this is a mess. It's just a mess. I'm gonna have some water. We're gonna move on. Hopefully that answered your question and was helpful. If you ever go to a show where they are like Paducah, like I feel like they were at Paducah last time. I could be wrong. But if they're ever at like a show like Paducah, you can go up and you could try it. And I really strongly suggest it. Or if you go, sometimes the quilt shops have the small bottles. Give it a go. I love it. Definitely think it's worth trying to see if you like it. Everyone I know who has used it loves it. So I just think it's a great product. And Brenda says, I will try it for sure. Thank you. I'm glad to be helpful. I'm glad to be a, you know, evangelist for the quilting and crafting spray. I love it. Definitely one of my favorite products that has come out in the past few years. I've been using it since, oh gosh, I don't know when it came out. They sent us bottles when I worked at Golden Peak, and I almost want to say it was like 2020 or 2021. And I've been using it ever since. You said actually the first two quilts that I did it on were both tulle pink quilts. So funny. One of them is a UFO. The other one is pieced together. I didn't do a huge amount of quilting on it because I ended up needing to finish it for the quilt show with Alex Anderson. So it's shown on my episode if you guys ever if you're a member there, or if you're not, I actually on my Instagram page, which is also so supportive, there's a link for a free, I don't remember, free trial of some week or something like that where you can go and watch episodes. But I did a whole episode on doing log cabins with pre-cuts. So that's this quilt right here was done with pre-cuts. And I did a log cabin with fat quarters. This one was 10-inch squares, and then I did one with fat quarters. And both of them were quilted almost identically, actually. But the one with the fat quarters, I've always meant to go back and do more quilting on it because I didn't feel like it was quilted the way I would have quilted it if I had more time to finish it. So I had done it for the magazine, and I think I was promoting the magazine in that episode. So, you know, sometimes when you're rushed for time, you don't get as much done. What can you do? I've never gone back and added quilting to a quilt that was already bound, but I might. I might try to, because I just feel like it's lacking. It's comfy, but it's not like scrunchy, you know, like you want it to be scrunchy. Best press gets very sticky. I agree. I agree, Joe. Yeah. And that's part of why I don't like it. It's also just I don't really like the scents. Um, and for a while, what did I use before I used this? I guess I just used regular starch, like um, like the magic spray that you can get in the grocery store. I think that's all I've ever used. Or flatter. I used flatter a lot. I still like flatter a lot. I think that's a nice product. Especially if you like scented things, then I suggest that one. It's beautiful. Like they smells are so nice. And the product is nice. And I would say that flatter I feel like is a little different, that I don't think it's buildable like this one is. I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that. So yeah, I guess I used flatter or I used regular magic spray or Niagara. Niagara isn't bad. I don't mind those because they don't get sticky. And I don't mind that it gets a little stiff. I do suggest whatever you do the same thing throughout the quilt though. So just like you would do the same machine, if you're going to use a product, use the product consistently. Either, do it when you start out with pieces or do them as you are working, but do it all the same, because the more you press things, the things can shrink. It's getting wet and so it can shrink a little funny after you cut things. That's why I'm being a little bit careful with what I'm doing with this project that I'm working on, because all the pieces are already cut out. Does that give away what I'm working on? I think I can tell you. I'm working on my fabric addiction kit. So, and yes, it's very complex. But sometimes that's nice when it's complex because you don't have to cut it out. Yeah. I just realized I did this in a different order. I added this flip in a different order, so it's going to be on a different side than the other blocks, but that's okay. No one's going to notice except for me, right? It was really funny one day. I've gotten into the habit of, when I get tired, the first mistake, I start to think whether or not I want to continue. And if I make a second mistake, I stop sewing. Because it's just not worth the unsewing. So that's a habit that I have gotten into. I might have to watch Steel Magnolias now that you mentioned it, Keenan. I might have to watch that this weekend. So I've got this little great TV that I can watch DVDs in my sewing room. And I have an Apple TV that's an older one, but I can't find the remote. And it's old enough that it doesn't take the other remotes that we've got in the house, and I can't find the remote for it. So I either need to try and find an older remote on Facebook Marketplace, or I need to get a new Apple TV. So yeah, I don't like unsewing either, Joe. I don't like it. It's not fun. I try to make it better by having seam rippers that I really like. One of my other seam rippers I'll have to show it to you sometime. It's in my sewing little tackle box. Otherwise I'd pull it out and show it to you. But it is also by Modern American Vintage. And it is part of the tree that was in Shawshank Redemption. So apparently the tree at the end of Shawshank Redemption where they buried the money was struck by lightning and it was knocked down. Like I think it was split in two. And they gave the wood to woodworkers around the country to make things. And Chris was one of the people who got some pieces. And so I bought a seam ripper that is from that wood. And so that one I really do like as well. This one is big. That one is probably the handle's probably this big. And I like it because it fits perfectly in my hand. But I usually, I don't know why I usually have this one out. I should probably swap it. Give them both a chance to, have a little fun on sewing time. Oops, I gotta switch for my feet now. That's my problem. I'm gonna move this one over and keep the other one out. Like almost started to sew without a 1/4 inch foot. And I do have my laser light on that shows me where to line things up, but I don't trust myself to hold it steady. My hands have been not great this week with my rheumatoid arthritis. I've had a bad week. I don't know if it's weather related. It could totally be weather related. I don't know if anybody on has any autoimmune conditions, but we have a lot of people in this community that have health issues, and yeah, so I'm not sure I'm loving that. Like, I feel like it didn't line up right. I feel like I'm sewing backwards. That's weird. I'm gonna go the other way. I went from right to left instead of left to right, and it threw me off. What am I doing with myself? I just grabbed the first one that I had, and that was not a big enough seam, so I might do that one again. I could see that it was not a 1/4 inch. There we go. Let's do it again. So sometimes if I do that where I don't stitch my 1/4 seam accurately, I will stitch a second line and then I'll pull out the threads that were not accurate. After. That way I can still press them open. Be good. Love you, Keenan. Have a wonderful rest of your day too. Oh, did you, Melanie, you watched Steel Magnolias about a month ago? Keenan says, we'll sell t-shirts saying I slapped Weezer Boudreaux. I love it. Love it. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that movie in ages. Absolute ages. But I've seen it many times in my life, so it's been a minute. I feel like I heard a story that was based on a true story. Except that the guy that she married in real life got remarried like 4 months after she died. Which sounds kind of sucky. So I was like, huh. I'm gonna unsew this part too. I don't usually get this particular, but I feel like being perfect today. Who's ever perfect? Nobody. It's probably just because I'm still feeling a little off, you know? I thought I was feeling better, and then I sobbed through dinner. And then I woke up this morning and I cried first thing this morning, you know? And part of it is everybody's using I Will Always Love You as part of their videos, and it's killing me. absolutely killing me. So, music is really important in my family, and we all just absolutely love music. My husband is just a music fiend, so we go to concerts frequently. We haven't done a lot of concerts this year, but we're going to a hello, Bobbin with Brittany. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, welcome. Good afternoon to you too. Um, so concerts are just a part of our, our life. And we are going to a big festival next month where we're going to see, I don't know, there's a bunch of bands playing, but really we're probably only going to see 2 or 3 a night. Because that's what we're interested in seeing. But anyway, so I know my husband and I both, we started playlists for our memorials. Does that sound creepy? Like, mine is called Play at the End. And I created a playlist that I want played at my memorial. And so better. So I Will Always Love You is on that playlist. And so I guess it's sort of, it just sounds so final to me now that I've added it. So, oh yeah, I know. So many tears. I know. I can't even. Every time I think of it, it's the same as, when David Bowie and Prince died. I just was beside myself, It just feels, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. So, anyway. So, when they play I Will Always Love You, it just gets me. Oh. And there's a creator I follow. Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. I feel like her name is Tamarin or something like that. And she, I want to say in like 2020 or like right after COVID, she started making these videos of her in her bathrobe. She's an actress in New York. She wears a white bathrobe and she has her hair tied up in a towel, and she pretends to be like the receptionist in heaven. And she did one for Dolly. And I lost it. I absolutely lost it. I get choked up thinking about it. Oh, I might drop it in the comments for you guys. I think I've got a link. Because I've shared it in a few places with friends of mine. And because it's really good, but it's really sad. So you'll have to look for it later because it's on my phone. Well, I could probably drop it on my phone, couldn't I? I could probably drop it in the comments. I'm going to apologize if my sound goes off though. But I'll grab it because it's so good. Ugh, I opened up my phone and all of these spam voicemails popped up. Here she is. Her name is Taryn Delaney Smith. You can go to her page and I'll drop the link in the comments. I've got to find the right one though. You know what? I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go on. I'm not going to scroll through her thing. I'm going to find it where I dropped it. Okay, let's see. See, there I go again with the clearing my throat. There we are. All right, copy the link. Copy the link. Okay. And then I'll go over to YouTube and I'll drop it in the comments if I can. I feel like they're going to let me drop it in the comments, right? I mean, I'm not exactly following myself, but maybe I should be. That's right. I can see how far behind I am. Okay, I'm dropping it now. Not that I want you to leave here, but if you want to cry or you just want to see a really sweet post, it's good. All right, am I good with that? It's not exactly even. This is my problem, is like the pieces are relatively small, and I'm not getting this set as even as I was getting the last one. I think I've got to still push it out a little bit more. Oh, you watched The Bodyguard last week. Oh my gosh. I've been on a Dolly Parton bender. I haven't seen The Bodyguard since it came out. But I remember I loved that one. It was good. It was good. I don't know that I could watch it again. Like, I just, with her I Will Always Love You version, ugh, can't even listen to it. And I had just heard the story about like how much money she made from Whitney doing that song. It was $10 million, and Dolly bought property in a traditionally Black neighborhood with the money that she's literally just a queen. She was a queen. I hate to have that I have to say she was, you know? All right, so we're going to do the light green. 2 light greens, 2 light greens. And 2 light greens. Okay. Dolly did so much good with her wealth. It was, an inspiration. Truly an inspiration. What goes over there? That's what I'm going to do. This foot, put that foot back on. I just feel like all week it's just been swapping feet. That's all I've been doing, swapping feet. The little project that I did on Monday that were, I always wish you could drop photos in the comments, Like, it would be nice to be able to see what you guys are working on. I'm sure that's like way too much memory for YouTube to handle on their servers, because people would be dropping photos all the time. But, and maybe it would be creepy photos, who knows? People are weird. But it would be nice to be able to see what you're working on, or for me to drop a photo so you can see it. But maybe I'll drop it in the community section after I go off, because it was a really interesting project that we worked on this week. And I think you guys would like it. We made little purse charms, heart-shaped purse charms. And it was funny because Devin found the original inspiration on Pinterest, I think. And I went to go try and find a heart template, because they were heart-shaped. And who is it? Sarah Harps. Is that what it is? The person who makes the labels. She sells them at QuiltCon. I know that I've gotten them at QuiltCon before. And she's always at QuiltCon. But Sarah Harps, I believe, did a whole tutorial, and it was exactly what we were wanting to make. And so it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So I'll drop a photo in the comment section of what we did, and describe what we did. But I literally was doing them one at a time, which I should have batch sewed them, but I wasn't quite sure if what I was doing was right, and they were all individual, like different colors, and so it was literally embroidery foot, put on the hoop to scan, fix it in the thing, then set it to embroider, and then put on the embroidery hoop with the right fabric, and then swap out the foot. And it was just so much. Do a ruffle. And I don't have a ruffler foot, which I was kind of sad about. I forgot that this machine came with almost all the feet that you can get. But it didn't have a ruffle foot, and the store was out of them when I bought my machine. And I don't think I should have ordered one. I don't know why I didn't order one when I was there. I think they just said that they were going to have them again soon, and then I didn't go back. And the store is like 45 minutes away from me or something like that, and so I don't get out there very frequently. So I need to go back and I need to get a ruffle foot, but because doing it by hand stinks. Yeah, Melanie, there were tears. I totally get it. I bet. Oh, goodness. There just have been tears all week. So, like I said, I just want to hold space for anyone who's feeling all the feels this week. And, you know, hopefully give you a little bit of an outlet. All right, it is 12:35. Probably work for a little bit longer, and then I've got to get back to work. It's my last day at my old job where I'm finishing up the last few emails that I've got to do, and then I am done for them, and then working all the time for AQS, which is just great. So for anybody who maybe missed it at the beginning, I'm the editor-in-chief of American Quilter magazine for American Quilter Society. I'm very, very excited. And I'm so pleased that a few of my friends were excited enough. They were like, "Oh, I guess I've got to get a new subscription." I've had subscriptions on and off over the years for American Quilter. It does have a lot of pictures of the quilts that have won at the different shows that they do throughout the year. So there's a big chunk of quilts. So if you like quilt eye candy, it's definitely worth getting a membership. You also get, like, you know, discounts on things at that they sell, and I think at the show you get something. Oh yeah, thank you, Brittany. Yes, at the beginning of the live today, I guess I should have like done it again, which is, you know, making the announcement. I started Monday. I'm taking over for Trisha Patterson, who's had the job for the past few years, and she's retiring. And I had a moment like a month ago where I was like, you know, I kind of miss it. And 2 weeks later, I saw the post by AQS saying that she was leaving and that they would be looking to fill the role. And I sent in my resume immediately, like 20 minutes later. And within 2 weeks, I had the job. So I feel very, very lucky and blessed. And I'm just very excited to be back doing publishing. I'll still be doing YouTube, and we'll be continuing with everything that I've built here, and hopefully doing it more because I'll have a more like consistent job. That maybe is a little crazy at times, because with the publishing schedule, you're always super busy right before you upload to get the magazine printed. But I feel like once I get the hang of that, I'll be in more of a regular schedule and it'll be good. So yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm really quite pleased. If all works out, my goal is that this is my job for until I retire. So that's the plan. Anyway, thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's nice to be. I feel like I'm back, you know. That's how I feel. All right, I'm gonna do this last part here, which will take me probably another 15 minutes or so, and then I'll sign off. Because these are, I'm trying to now. I'm at this point now that I figured out how long it takes to make each block. I'm trying to like streamline things a little bit, and batch sew so that I can go back and just sew the whole block together. It's been definitely interesting making these blocks. And for the tutorial that I'm going to do, I'm just going to show how to do each block. I'm going to make it streamline it very much. And I don't know that I'll do tips as, you know, I don't know. I feel like I should do tips, at least the Mary Ellen Hopkins part of like doing these stitch and flips. So which some of you, if you came later, you probably didn't hear me talking about like my tips for doing stitch and flip. But I shared some little tips that I do. I usually don't cut off I don't cut off the back pieces, the little extras, until I know that I've sewn it accurately. And if I have not sewn it accurately, I leave on the rectangle. Oops, I just started to cut the whole rectangle off, and that's not what I want to do. Just getting ahead of myself. Sitting here talking, jabbering away. Now I cut it. Now what am I going to do? Oh, well. We're just going to leave it as is. Okay. We're just going to leave it. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm definitely running out of steam. So if I start to make mistakes, that'll be it for me. Because I won't sew anymore if I start doing it wrong. Because there's no fun in that. Makes it not fun, you know? See, I sewed it really badly. Really, really badly. Like, wow, that was not even straight. What in the heck? It's funny with the autoimmune stuff. Sometimes you just like all of a sudden, whew, it's just over. Right. It's like it never happened. I fixed it. Okay. So much better. Brittany says, I've been batch cutting lately. I want all my kits chopped and ready. I love that for you. I think I've talked about Mary Mabel Market. She's got a channel here, and she does that. She did a whole video on how she can be very prolific in her sewing, and she says it's all because she batch cuts. She has kits ready to go for different things. So she makes a lot of charity quilts, and she gets the kits ready. And sometimes it's just that the fabrics are together, and sometimes it's that they're cut and ready to go. All right, that looks much better. I need to start like planning what I'm going to work on after this. I still have to do my Pride Heart Pop, which I think maybe that'll be next, which is super easy. That one only took 8 hours to do, and I kind of need an easy project after this one. And then I probably will switch to my Halloween Kimberbell kit that I worked on. I'm about halfway through, so I just want to finish that up for Christmas. And I think I'll probably work on that afterward. I don't know if I'm going to get to more Halloween quilts this year. I really want to do a Christmas quilt. And I've got like blocks done for some of the Halloween quilts. Yeah, I think I just need to find a long armor to do my quilts. Usually when I would go out to Texas to Linda's, I would have Corey, like Corey did 2 of my quilts. But that was a perk of working there, you know, that I could have him do it. And he used it to film content, but he hasn't been filming content anymore, really, for that. So, not a luck. So I have to find somebody else to long arm my stuff for me. Or I just need to get up the guts and do it my dang self. Which also is probably good. Bye, Joe. Have a great day. Ugh, it's been fun today. It's been like not all regulars, and I like that it's also just been sort of a steady stream of people coming and going, which is perfect, you know? Love that. All right, let's start with that one. All right, now I'm going to line it up the way I did last time, which was a little bit higher than I wanted it. But straight. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck. I forget who used to do this. Like, you put your tongue in just the right spot, hold your breath, and then sew. Maybe it'll go the way you want it to go. All right, not terrible. Not terrible. I don't hate it. But not quite as accurate as I want it to be. Something is weird. I wonder if I just need to change my upper setting, my tension. Not my tension, the foot pressure. I don't know where that setting is. Sometimes computerized machines. I love this machine, don't get me wrong, but I never had a lesson on it. And so I don't know a lot of the basics about it. I've watched a bunch of videos like Becky at Power Tools with Threads has the same machine, although I think she might have recently upgraded. But she's had the same machine. And so sometimes I can find stuff on her channel on how to do stuff. Huh. I can see the tension, but I don't see the foot pressure. I might need to look into that and see if I can fix that. Oh, see, that looks fine. That looks fine. After I pressed it, it was good. Okay. Yeah, it's really good. Being too hard on myself. That's what happens when I get tired. Tired. Just got a pop-up from BBC News that's on my phone, and now I'm like got PTSD. I don't like the pop-ups, but it doesn't have anything to do with it. Oh, it's about Lindsay Clancy. I don't get what happened there. I only started just like catching up a little bit on what was happening with that story, and yikes, what a mess. They say she admits to killing her children but denies murder. I don't understand what that means. Oh, you're running your long arm right now? That's great. I wish I had room for a long arm. If I had room for a long arm, I would have one. And I would have either a handy quilter or a Bernina. Because those are my the two that work for me. I used the, oh, you know what? I don't think I used the spray on the last block that I did. Not block, section, unit. Unit is correct. I might give that a little magic spray. A little magic spray never hurt anybody, right? Much better. That's good. I got a little pile going. It's nice, making me feel like I'm making progress. So did I tell you that I started this project? I started this project a while ago, and then my mother-in-law passed away. And so I missed the timing of the first drop of this particular pattern, which they were great about. They were very gracious and like, you shouldn't be worrying about this right now. Go focus on your family, which I thought was really great. But now there's a new batch of these particular patterns coming out. And so I want to hit it at the right time. And so I use the Lori Holt design boards to keep track of all my pieces, but I left it on my cutting table, and one of the cats came in and slept on it, and so I came in the next day. There were pieces all over the floor and black fur all over the blocks that I did. And so now I've got to figure out how to get the fur off of these individual blocks without like stretching them. And I just don't know. Oh my word. Like, what a silly thing. And at first I thought it was the kittens, and then I realized it was our like geriatric outdoor cat who did it. Because I caught her on it the next day. So yeah, so good times. That looks straight. Wow, that really pushed it. It depends on the ones that have like the most seams get pushed really hard. I'm gonna have to find that setting because I just this is a problem. I think it's just pressing down too hard. I'll figure it out. I'll do one of the little. I wish that this sewing machine came with a handbook, but it doesn't. It has everything on the computer. I'm on the computer in the machine, but so you kind of have to ask it questions, and it brings you to that section. But I wish I had a book. And I did get a book because I know people at Brother, and they sent me the they have this inspiration book that takes you through a whole bunch of different projects, but I haven't worked through it. I work, so it's hard to like make time for that kind of stuff. But anyway, all right, friends, I'm probably gonna wrap it up now. Oh, Mary, you said you try to cover your projects with flattened plastic bags. That's smart. I try to put my stuff away. And what I've started to do is I just take a second design board and I flip it over and put it on top, so that they can't get to it, because this has got too many pieces, and they're gonna knock it over. I could have probably, if there was only one block that I was making, I would probably use an iris tote to put all the pieces in and keep track of them, but it's got two different blocks, and so it's a little more, I don't know, complex than that. So anywho, I am gonna go. And oh, Mary says I have one cat and she has been good about staying off my project table. That's good. That is good. I have 4 cats. We didn't mean to have that many cats. We didn't mean to have that many cats. And there's a 5th cat trying to get in our house lately. But we have this one cat that we found, like, she was abandoned by her previous family who lived next door to us, and they moved away and they left her behind. And so we started taking care of her, and then we took her with us when we moved here. And there's this, she's all black and she's got yellow eyes, and there's another cat in the neighborhood that we think is a boy, and he's all black with yellow eyes, and he always comes to our front door, and we've got like a French door for the front door, and he stares in the glass at night, and she hates him. So maybe it's a girl, I don't know, but I just don't know. She just does not like this other cat, and she will fight with him through the glass. So it's kind of funny. So he can't come in. But And I've discovered my husband is like putting out food for him, which I'm like, dude, like we don't need this. There's a place down the street where there's a guy who puts out food for the stray cats in the neighborhood, and he takes care of them. But anywho, yeah, don't need 5 cats. But there certainly are an abundance of homeless cats in North Carolina, I tell you. So anyway, I will see you next week. Same bat times, that same bat channel. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And I hope that you have lots of fun and lots of sewing time. And I will update you on how the job's going next week. And I will hopefully be done with this quilt by then, because I'm hoping to finish this quilt over the weekend. So by next week, I'll be able to show you a picture and tell you what the project is and give you an ETA on the tutorial, which honestly should be done by next week anyway. So, all right, friends, thanks for joining me today. And thanks for sharing your stories about like what you love that Dolly did, and listening to my stories about both Dolly and Tim Curry and what they mean to me. So, so keep your chin up, and I hope you enjoyed the lunar eclipse tonight, if you're into looking at the moon, and I will see you next week.